Nemisebo tatwa kwete no manatu kwata. Balungu nadama bombeni. Nino ine ni so ntatu le balangeka wa bomba. Balungu wa bombeni. Never opposition ni balete shayeze wa bomba. Balungu.
Sikide Bamjaba mulonge Kutelera kwa timule mbwe 5 billion se kutelera Yafika na kambi batelera Bana balada Tena kambi balada Opposition yalada Na kambi yalada
Simple by looking it But it's tough for me action ni lungu Abashara bose ni follow 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 lungu
Sure
Watupangira na maburiti misebo shamulwelele Poshite sina nungu wamipale mulungu mutima mupitirishe Zambia desi ya riti Walibombeleze mjalungu Ushikeshe mwana wandoshi Walibomba kunwa pula Saudeni na mchinga Lusaka na kopara Nikwisa kuta wabomba lunguwe Piye Son tapa shele wetu mbele po Piye Son tapa shele wetu mbele po No Ukuma mababa lungu Kweka kule sonta Kweka kule sonta Atisha kwali wina kalema Ukuma makwapia Kule langa
Bantu balungu Mwewe toneno kufuti na futi mwe Mupolisi kampuna mbapata mwabana mwanda ba mayo Bali bakulira mayanda mayo Noloti setting ya malaita bataya ya mayo Italo bali wa myapa we mwana tarala mayo
Ukuma mababa lungu Kweka kule sonta Atisha kwali wina kalema Ukuma makwapia Kule langa Ukuma mababa lungu Kweka kule sonta Atisha kwali wina kalema Ukuma makwapia Kule langa
discuss this very hot topic, and wow, it's even difficult to know where to start from. But either ways, we are here as Ubuntu channel to just help us digest all the trending events that have happened throughout the week, especially on Saturday, that is yesterday, where we heard President Edgar Chagwa Lungu announcing he is back in active politics. And this is where he announced it. Let me allow my producer to just give us that clip, and then we can have introductions on the other side. See you on the other side.
I will not allow, whether you like it or not, I will not allow. Just like I will not allow the Patriotic Front to die, I will also not allow factions within the party. I will also not allow opportunistic individuals to destroy the party. Hear this. Therefore, after and deep reflection and wide consultation, including prayer, following negative by those in power to annihilate the biggest opposition party, PF in Zambia today, the PF, using their stooges and institutions of governance, I have decided to return to active.
There we have it, and that is exactly what happened yesterday. Remember, we were commemorating the 9th anniversary since the passing of the founding president of the Patriotic Front, that is His Excellency Michael Chilufya Sata. And right at the memorial, at Memorial Park, is where President Edgar Chagwa Lungu actually made that huge announcement. Today on this program, as you can see, I'm not alone. I'm with Himba and Bomkelabai. Himba, good afternoon and welcome to today's special broadcast on Ubuntu channel.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Good afternoon, viewers. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. We are so happy to be with you and just to share our thoughts on the coming back of the former president of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. I'm really delighted to be here and just add a voice to most voices that have been already voiced out. Hope I'll add value to this debate as well. Thank you so much, Lawrence.
We really want to hear your views on this one. And I'm also joined by Womkelabai. Womkelabai, good afternoon, and thank you so much for making time to be on this special program this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. And I don't know whether it's good evening, viewers, or it's good afternoon. We have just changed time, so as we are now 1 hour behind. So I would simply say good afternoon, everyone, and we are interesting. It's quite interesting to see, but some of us, we are not surprised because we saw this coming way back. So we know, probably we are clever. We are ahead of.
I'll ask you to hold your fire. I'll ask you to just hold your fire a little bit, just a little bit. Now, this is the background of everything that has been happening. Sunday last week, Mao Sampa, Davis Chama, and some other individuals, 2 others, are suspended from the Patriotic Front. Fast forward, on Tuesday, Mao Sampa holds an extraordinary general conference for the Patriotic Front, where he is elected as the president of the party. Same day, the Patriotic Front announces that actually Mao Sampa has been expelled from the Patriotic Front. Wednesday, the other Patriotic Front, led by Given Lubinda and obviously with Mr. Raphael Nakachinda, go to court and obtain an interim injunction which was meant to stop Honorable Mao Sampa from acting or masquerading as the Patriotic Front president. Fast forward Friday, Mao Sampa manages to have Mao Sampa's lawyers managed to have that injunction actually overturned and nullified, meaning that he was going to continue to be the Patriotic Front president, and those who were willing to be with him should have done so. And in the midst of all that, he announces that he has actually also expelled Honorable Given Lubinda and Mr. Raphael Nakachinda from the party. Friday evening, the Patriotic Front in the night holds a press briefing where they are complaining about how the court managed, how Mao Sampa managed to have the court change their decision on what they had already given out to them in terms of an injunction, and they said this was the start of the war. Saturday, we hear the big man himself, that is His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, announces his return into active politics. From this brief background of everything, let me start with you, Himba. We were talking about this on Tuesday, actually, when we had our usual program on Tuesday. We were talking about this, and you mentioned to say this looked like a done deal, and Mao Sampa was going to be legitimized. Did you see all these things unfolding and to be where we are right now?
Thank you so much, Lawrence. You know what? If for you to be in politics, you have to be wise, and you always have to think ahead of your enemy. You know what? So if you would see the way the PF they've been handling their issues, you would understand that there was somebody behind Kunuma who's been like planning, and other people could just move the pieces which are being planned. Because there's no way a biggest political party in the country can stay for 2 years. 2 years without a leader. What justification do they have? You know, and apparently they had already put it on record that ECL had resigned. So why were they not going ahead to usher in their new president? However, if you sit and analyze, you would understand that, you know, if they really are really bringing in a new person, Valele Towanyu, in the political arena through the PF ticket, it will take time for them to sell that candidate. You know, 5 years is just it's a short period of time for a political party to sell a presidential candidate. But where PF were comfortable. So me, I've been convinced from the beginning that ECL is coming back. And I've been very, very convinced that no matter what the PF, and even Given Lubinda was just holding a position for ECL. But the sad situation is, and this leaves me really, really, really sad. Mlenja atimu PF Tamuava, no one can rule PF. There's nobody who can rule PF apart from ECL. That is what is bothering me. But honestly, as answering your question, Lawrence, I saw it coming, and I knew that ECL was still in the active politics. Everywhere, I've told people ECL is still in the active politics.
Okay, Bamkelevai, let me ask you to chip in on this one. We have a situation whereby I think the cause throughout the social media have been that the only person who has the keys to handle the wrangles that have engulfed the Patriotic Front is actually himself, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. I can even quote, I think, people like Mr. Chilufya Tayali, who have been live and saying that the only person who is legitimate to actually handle some of these people, including Mao Sampa, is Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And that he was quiet while everything was going bad in the party was all his fault, because he is not doing anything. And now he has decided to do something. Are we going to blame him for doing that?
Well, everything falls on the back of Edgar Chagwa Lungu, because Edgar Chagwa Lungu has been the president of the political party of PF more than the founder himself, Chilufya Sata. Chilufya Sata was in the opposition until 2014. Is it 2011 when he won against Rupia Banda, and he was in office for only 2 years, maybe tops. The third year he was unwell until his demise. And then you saw what happened, the wrangle that started, because that is where the whole genesis began. What's his name again? Sampa. Mao Sampa. He is actually the factor in this matter. Because even in the beginning, Mao Sampa played a pivotal role in wanting to change the leadership. But he was bullied and he was kicked out. And then what happened? Lungu was ushered in. Lungu was imposed on the Zambian or the PF, because none of the PF didn't even know, didn't see it coming. However, way forward, Lungu served for 2 terms. According to the Zambian constitution, he served and he finished his power. And he lost his final, the third year, when the third term where he was supposed to be retired. He went ahead and contested because the Constitutional Court allowed him to, and nobody pressed the Constitutional Court. But anyway, the way forward, he lost. The Zambian people rejected him. Okay? The mistake Lungu made was to follow, to just go by his heart. Whatever he decided to abandon, one, his political party, by terminating the contract. He was eligible. He was eligible to be the PF president for the next 5 years. He was eligible. He was entitled to be the president of the political party for the next 5 years until 2026. What happened is he tendered in his resignation, meaning he terminated the 5 years contract that he was mandated by the constitution and by his people, by the party constitution. He legally, legitimately resigned. What does that mean when you resign? You terminate your contract, meaning he ceased to be the party president. Now, if he wishes to come back, it is his prerogative, by the way, to come back. But when he comes back, he has to go back to the people so he can voted him in. He cannot come back. He cannot come back and claim that he's now taking over. That will be one unconstitutional.
Let me just break it down in this way. First and foremost, let's look at the reasoning behind his comeback from what he has said. If we watch the clip that we played earlier on where he was announcing his comeback, he said he is back because he will not allow the party that sponsored him, gave him the opportunity to hold the highest office in the land, to have factions, which is actually the case right now. Secondly, he says he is back because he will not allow the ruling party, which is trying to destroy the biggest opposition party in the country by using stooges to infiltrate the party. He also mentioned that he will not allow opportunists to take over the party. And in this regard, obviously, he is referring to Honorable Maus Walia Sampa, who has actually seemingly taken over the party currently. So let's look at the reasoning. Reason number one, he says he will not allow them.
It doesn't matter, my dear. My dear, let me just cut you short. Don't be confused with the reasons why he comes back. In the first place, he is the reason why the party is in this mess in the first place. And he doesn't just want to accept his wrongdoing. He is the one, he's the cause of all this confusion in the party. Had he not left, had he not thrown the tantrums of losing an election and ukufika takata, this issue wouldn't been an issue today. But the moment it is him, that's the problem with PF. They always want to find someone to blame. They are not blaming themselves for the mistakes they created themselves. Who are they portioning that blame to? They want to blame it to an outsider. Nobody is sponsoring what is the confusion that is taking place in PF. Nobody is even sponsoring the misinterpretation of their own constitution in their political party. It is themselves who are failing to interpret their party constitution. They are putting everything coming from their own mind. Beneluvinda, they think Edgar Chagwa Lungu has the right to come back and take over where he stopped from. It does not work like that. Luvinda has been on so many interviews claiming that if Lungu was just gone for maybe just for a short power nap, and then when he wakes up and come back, he will continue holding the same office. That is in their head. That's their own interpretation. But the law they gave themselves, the so-called party constitution, when someone dies or resigns, listen to me, resigns. By resigning, you are terminating the contract. That's why Lungu was being paid terminal benefit. He's been receiving terminal, not sleeping benefit.
Let's hope he hasn't been paid.
He has been paid on top of the money he stole. Right?
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, can I finish my point, my brother?
Sure, go on.
Yes. What I'm saying is, when the issue here, I'm telling you, this is going to see them going to court, and you will see, because justice the court system will interpret for them. This is the constitution that they gave themselves. There's no interference. It is their own constitution that they are busy misrepresenting. They're busy abusing. Mayo Samba, right now, legally speaking, he is the party president. If what's his name again? Lungu wants to come back and take over his position, he has to earn it. He has to go in the line. What is so special? Just because he had held the position of a president before, that does not automatically give him the right to come back and take over the same position where he stopped from. No, unless it is expressly stated in their constitution, which I doubt is expressed like that. So Walungu is just busy coiling himself, entangling himself. This is a huge entanglement. These guys ought to have sat down and resolved this matter. And we know that Lungu has been playing politics behind closed doors. He's the one that has been busy firing, that has been busy advising. But yet he knows, he's a lawyer. He knows the mistake he made. And the mistake he made is going to bite him. Wait and see what will happen when one of the victims or one of the people that are serious will take up this matter to court and hear what the court will say. This is a straightforward matter. Even a grade 5 knows when you resign from a position, you have terminated yourself. The contract is terminated. It's no longer, it's null and void. He was no longer an active president of the party. On paper, okay, legally speaking, in their mind, he was their president. That's why they've been crying, and they convinced him in their mind.
That one. I was trying to chip in on that one. because you go to the Registrar of Societies, actually, unless things have changed when Mao Sampa took his list there. But as things stand, I can say that at the Registrar of Societies, they recognize President Edgar Chagwa Lungu as a president of the Patriotic Front. And that is why even Mao Sampa in his deliberations always says that the only person who was legal to carry out all those appointments of Secretary General and all that was President Edgar Lungu, because he is the only one who was recognized at the Registrar of Societies. Then
that was before Mao Sampa won.
Never changed any office bearers from the time the top 4 officials actually resigned. We are looking at the president himself resigned, the vice president resigned, the secretary general of the party resigned, and also the national chairperson resigned, and they did not make amendments to that effect. So coming back to Mr. Lungu, him coming back, don't you think he still has that mandate at the Registrar of Society to be the president of the Patriotic Front?
Do you want me to chip in, or is Himba?
I want Himba to chip in.
Lawrence, I think I'm not just going to talk much about the Registrar of Society, because me, as far as I'm concerned, at this moment, PF lintwali mubuteko. You know, they did a lot of shortcuts. Remember, we were even told they even owed the Registrar of Society. Sivenzo Shtama annual returns. They still had a lot of money. Remember when they were told, can you correct your records and pay the money you owe the Registrar of Society? That's another thing, because we were not told if they corrected that and everything was sorted out by the PF. Secondly, I believe Mao Sampa has been saying this thing. Oh, but let's correct the way we are running the PF. It's against our own constitution. He's been singing. He's been taking them to court. But you know, before, I wouldn't really want to talk so much about the Registrar of Society because I really don't have much information. But I would love to talk about how they've killed the PF, how they've destroyed the PF themselves. Why am I saying so? As I said, you can't have a political party run for 2 years without a leader. Kubutoko, who's going to make those decisions? Secondly, you know, even Edgar Lungu, he had resigned. For him to come back into politics, you know, it's just trying to bring confusion in our country. Right now, Edgar is the causer of the confusions in the PF they are going through. And then he comes back and he feels like he owns Zambia. I'm sorry to say that probably he feels like that because Batataba Edgar Lungu, he's never fought for power. He doesn't know how it is. He doesn't know how it is to spend. He doesn't know how it is to go and campaign rural areas. He never felt that. To me, I look at him as like a spoiled child and he ends up taking everything for granted. That's the way he's taken the Zambian people for granted because he never fought for this power. He doesn't know what Michael Sata and Guy Scott went through. So he feels he can go and come. What does Edgar Lungu wants to come and do? What he didn't do when he had the instrument of power. At this moment, all over PF, this is the confusion. I strongly believe ECL is selfish. He doesn't love the Zambian people. He doesn't love Zambia at large. There are sometimes as a leader, you make decisions based on the other people, not yourself, because he's coming back. We haven't forgotten as the Zambian people. We've been calm. There's peace in our country because the current leadership has worked on our mind. We don't revenge, don't do all these things. So Edgar Lungu, he feels he owes the Zambian people no apology. Edgar Lungu feels he can come and impose himself on the Zambian people. And it's so sad that our fellow members in the UP, in the PF, they don't really understand what this brings to the Zambian people. Now, Edgar Lungu always wants us to be found ourselves along tossing the constitution. Constitution, if every time there's always a debate. Yeah, for him to stand, there was a debate. But later, why doesn't he make decisions in the best interest of the Zambian people? For me, it's like ECL. He doesn't care what he goes through, what happens, as long as he's in power, as long as he remains with the instrument of power for Zambia. But now, we are not his property. We are not his children. Zambia belongs to the Zambian. Edgar saved the Zambian people, and it ends there. For me, his history. It's so sad that MPF tabakwete ntungulushi walelo reshapofi ni Edgar Chagwa Lungu. That is really sad. I submit.
Let's look at what Mr. Fred Membe actually says concerning this subject matter. He actually captions this and says, if I was in Lungu's position, I would do the same. Let me read a bit. If I was in Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu's position, I would do exactly what he has done today. That is, jump into the ring and fight. No decent person can allow a political party that made him president be annihilated in such a crooked, mendacious way. No sensible person can sit on his or her laurels and watch the country that gave him or her everything, the highest honor of being the president, being destroyed by the most intolerant, corrupt, unpatriotic, and tribalistic puppet. A person who abides by unjust laws and practices and permits another person to trample, divide, and mistreat the people and the country in which he or she was born is not an honorable person. End of quote there from Mr. Fred Membe. Now, basically, he is actually trying to tell us to say he believes that what Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu has done is actually right. Every person who is in their right senses should do exactly what Mr. Lungu has done. That is, come back and help restore order in the party, in generally speaking, and ensure that if he wants to retire, he passes it on to a person in the rightful way, unlike the way he did it at first, where he left everything hanging, and now we have a situation where the party is being thrown here and there. Mkeleba, I see you laughing at that, and I want you to come in.
Before Mkeleba comes in, Rollins, let me just, Mkeleba, I hope you don't mind if I can come in on this one. Lawrence, I also want to make it clear that according to that message, and also what ECL said when he was announcing his coming back, he should also bear in his mind that HH will not sit back, let the people who ill-treated him, let the people who insulted him, and you know, HH has been very quiet. And it doesn't mean that when somebody is quiet, they are stupid or they are useless or they are foolish. That's one thing they should also bear. Edgar is vowing that he can't let the political party that gave him a silver platter, which he did not work for, to let it break. And then even Fred Membe comes, supports that. And I am also responding that they should not think the quietness which President Hakainde Hichilema is displaying right now, it's because he's a fool. No, it's because he's respected the interest of the Zambian people and he wants peace in the country. And truth be told, HH was humiliated. HH was ill-treated. So if he thinks the way Edgar Lungu is thinking, they shouldn't cry foul. They shouldn't blame him because they're actually plaguing him. They are plaguing him. And for how long is he going to keep quiet and tolerate this kind of behavior from other political parties? Today, Fred Membe, Edgar Lungu, let's see where it takes them. But when HH start reacting as the Republican president, they shouldn't cry foul.
Okay, Mkeleba, you can come in.
You see, we Zambians, we are so we have a very short memory, you know, and it's good that Edgar Lungu decided to come back, you know, to try to fix the problem that he has. But the question is, in what capacity is he coming to? Because there's already a president of the political party, of his political party, that he left. What does that mean? Does it mean that Veneluvinda, Venemayo Sampa, they are not in any position? They are stooges. They can't fix the problem unless Edgar Chagwa Lungu? Because this is what he's trying to say. This is what they're trying to, what they mean. They mean. to say only Edgar Chagwa Lungu can come and fix the problem. Yes, we know he's the one who created this problem in the first place. Okay? He's the one who created it. If he's coming and under that premise that he, since he's the causer, he is the one that created this problem, that mess, he should come and try to fix it. But now as he comes, he should lower himself, because he's going to find people who are already elected as president of the same political party he left. He's no longer the president. What voice is he going to say? In what position? What legal capacity? Because he does not hold any office anymore. If he wants to claim that he is the former president of the political party as a senior, yes, he can come in and try to help as a former PF president. If he wants to claim that no, because my name is still appearing on the paper as the legit president, then there are a lot of conflicts of interest there. You know, there's a letter that is stated in black and white to the secretary, the cabinet secretary. Okay? Where he stated, I have terminated, I have resigned, I have given up, I have stopped, I'm no longer. And there's a debt on that particular, and the very debt is the one that is going to carry the day, because that is where he ceased to be the party president. If the registrar still holds, the name of his name it is still appearing on, it is the registrar that is going to look at it to say, hey, we need the president here, because what you have here, the name which is here, expired a long time ago, because this gentleman does not have a locus stand. It does not apply to him. He resigned. By law, he ceased to be the party president on that particular date, whether it was 2021 when he resigned. You see, he rushed. That's why we're telling him to say he is the causer. You rush, rushing for payments. You want to get benefits. He left an issue. Right now, this is what is going to haunt him. This is what is going to make him popular in terms of a lawyer who doesn't know how to interpret his own laws. You see? Because President Lungu is known for misinterpreting the constitution. So even this time around, he is misinterpreting this, and his own colleagues, his own fellow members, they are going to rise against him. Let's take away the UPND, we take away the government or anybody outside of NMMB. Those are just creatures. I mean, those are just human beings that are just, we know what they're after. You know, they would say anything for as long as it's not in line with the government policy. They will say otherwise. You know, Membe will never accept, or rather appreciate, the effort of the government or statement. You always want to, support those who are against the government. So we don't care. Let's put them aside. Let's look at it from the PF perspective. Are you telling me, Baina Zambia, PF, that Edgar Chagwa Lungu is your president, legitimate president? If so, why is, what is his name again? Luvinda. Why was that Luvinda had the power to even terminate or to disappoint or appoint? Who gave him that power? Which authority was he using, deriving for? What do we do to those appointments that Luvinda has made? And how do we bring in the issue of Sampa? Because already we are not going to talk about the case that is in court, okay? Because that one is yet to come. That's why even in Parliament, the Speaker simply said, no, we are not going to comment. We are going to wait until judgment there's a pronouncement in the courts of law, okay, over the legitimacy of Wolubinda is Wolubinda holding office legally, together with whoever has been Nakachinda, whatever. Are they holding office legitimately? If so, were they in order? If the court decides otherwise, then everything falls down. I'm promising you, it's gonna fall down heavily on them. Together with Lungu, is Lungu eligible? Is he eligible to it? Now Lungu is going to be questioned whether he's eligible in his own party that he resigned from. He terminated the contract. That is the catchword, Bane. Remember this: when you tender in resignation and you put a date that you cease to be holding that particular office that you had, that is legit. And this man has been receiving even payments. Okay? For him to even announce that he's back, it means that he has now rescinded his decision. Okay? He has come back. But now, when you come back, walata wikale pay some PF, because if puna fion some PF, now wekala pokale, abena Mao Sampa. Now he has to deal with Mao Sampa. If he wants to challenge Mao Sampa's legitimacy, let him take the matter to court, like what Nakachinda did. Okay? That is the best way to do. So Lungu has an issue. Let him go to court and challenge the current PF president, who is Mao Sampa, who was legitimately elected by all the 9 provinces, members of the PF.
Let us move from that. We see quite some different reactions actually that have come through when it comes to his return, and one interesting one is the one that comes from Mr. Michael Zulu there, obviously also known as Saint Michael, the musician, who actually says he thinks we have forgotten. Probably as a reminder, I think I'll push this one to both of you. Let me start with Himba. What do you remember Mr. Edgar Lungu for as president of the Patriotic Front and the president of Zambia?
I remember that he carried us through after the death of Michael Chilufya Sata. I remember him as a person who allowed for the senior political parties to go around to go and preach the message of division and tribalism, e.g. the way he supported Vakambwidi to go around. I also remember him that he was the president of Zambia, whether we like it or not, Vali to take and Wakateka. How I would have loved him even now to respect that he was the president of Zambia and sit back, let him enjoy those benefits as the former president of Zambia. Rollins, on the other hand, this is one thing I'd also want to mention to my fellow Zambians out there. PF is the biggest political party we have in Zambia, and we need PF for the checks and balances. You know, but there are these few things which our fellow members, they've forgotten, or which our comrades in PF, they've forgotten. They are busy pointing at Niba UPND, Abale sponsor Mao Sampa, Niba UPND. It's really shocking how people would think like that. They've forgotten what happened in Kabwe, the way ECL was elected into power. They've forgotten. ECL, he was elected into power the same way Mao Sampa has been recognized now. So you can't, and they shouldn't even they shouldn't cry foul by PF, because this is their tradition. This is their culture of doing things. So they taught Mao Sampa that it's possible you can come into power like this. 1, 2, 3, voting arena. So those are the things they've said. And as Zambian people, we should be very careful that these presidents should not continue in any political party. And then they're busy crying at Niba UPND Abachtenshi, Abale sponsor Mao Sampa. They should be very careful. this kind of thinking nimwo ine bali amaparents abakwe bati umwana wabo angaiba ati nibanzake umwana ingaya apelefu mwati bana nke bale muchita influence. Does it mean your own child is not capable of making their own mistakes and influencing others? But PF, it's high time they should sit down and check into their party. Whether we like it or not, there's a group of people who didn't like ECL. Look at the suspensions that has happened. Let's take the other MP who just had a conference this morning. Do you think those people are just going to sit? You are going to find that people who are funding and doing everything for Miles Sampa, there are people within the party. Not everyone wants ECL. So here there are two battles which ECL is introducing back into our country. Within the party, there's a battle he needs to fight, because whether we like it or not, there are those who are pro-ECL, there are those who are non-ECL. Outside, he's got the opposition to fight. And people will come to him and they'll say, no, the leadership position. I'm not afraid to take up the leadership position. Why are they running to him? You know, basically, me, I would have loved ECL to stay back, advise the current president to save the Zambian people, not for him to be used the way he's being used. And whether we like it or not, he's got a battle, and a serious battle is within the PF. And that's where he's going to have problems. These people at PF, these senior party leaders, believe me, they are going to mobilize themselves, and they are coming against ECL. The same way ECL feel more legitimate. This is the same way they are feeling to be more legitimate. And there's no way, if you are PF leaders, you love the PF, but at the point when there's dust in the house, that's when you start suspending, creating more fire in the house. So if you love the party, why should you go that way? Stop blaming others, sit down, go on the round table and clear the dust. Stop saying, you are UPND, you are Kantwa. You heard. Yeah, but PF, they are comfortable to send away their members and to stand on the platform and start calling outsiders. Fred Membe, come, Saboyi, come. They are ready to do that. But what about their own people? What about their own indigenous? There are people who fought for PF. There are people who started with SATA from the beginning. Where are they? Who are willing to die for PF? You know, so they are he's busy creating confusion, and the PF are busy looking somewhere. The problem is within your house. Sit down, sort out the problem within your house. Stop pointing at people. And Edgar Lungu now, he's come back into the political arena. He's going to be bruised. Mwika Lilaba PF, Mwika, the father of the nation, he respect him. He's declared, he has come into active politics, and he will be handled as such. So Mwika Lila, don't cry foul. The former president of Zambia, already, if you are legality, me, I don't want to go in because I don't understand how ECL can resign today. He starts benefiting, enjoy my benefits, and then he comes back. And then again, he goes again, benefits. I don't understand how it's going to work. I think the legal personnel are able to come out on that one. But as we are going, so that when HH goes, so we are going to be waiting for ECO to come at to take. But PF, we need leaders who are capable in the PF to do the checks and balances. This ECO thing, it's taking you nowhere. I submit.
Okay. I don't know if Bomkelaba, you want to add something to that.
I always have something to say. You know, Bo Edgar Lungu has made a terrible mistake. To be honest, I will talk just from the brotherly point of view. We are not scared. I don't think the UPND is scared of ECL. If UPND could beat ECL whilst he had the instrument of power, why would they even be scared of somebody they beat so terribly? You know,
when they have instrument of power.
And now that when they had no instrument of power, they beat him like a baby. And now that they have instrument of power, do you honestly think UPND will sit back and look at Lungu and allow him to come back and take over the government again? That would be a mistake. That's why Michael Zulu said, we have not forgotten. He should not think. You see, the problem with these guys, they think when Zambians, they haven't reacted. Zambians have never reacted so much vigorously on him. And they just kept a distance because the current government decided to say, look, let's respect the former president. Let's cut him some slack. That's why today, I believe even those applications for immunity was never tabled in Parliament. But now that this gentleman, okay, has decided to come back into politics, okay, now his sins are going to haunt him. His sins are going to haunt him. We know the reason why we are in this economical mess. It's because of his recklessness, his leadership that has put us in this problem. There's a caveat on the country right now. The country cannot bring in investors to come and mine because there's a caveat. There are a lot of encumbrances on our mines, a lot of encumbrances into any investment. And it has to take this current government to really go through, try to revoke all these and give this support and trust to the investors, the future, the prospective investors, to say, look, we are going to take good care of you. The Norwegian embassy left Zambia under Lungu, left Zambia, reason because the Lungu leadership was corrupt. They don't like, Scandinavians hate corruptions. They left, they went to establish their embassy in Malawi. Why? Because Lungu's administration really was reckless and there was a lot of lawlessness. This is a gentleman who wants to come back. How would the international world look at us? That we have taken out, how would the international world look at us, including China? This is the man. This is the man that put us. Yes.
I'm going to bring in a clip here where we try to hear from someone who claims to be a PF member and seemingly has a message for Balungu. Let me ask my producer to just give me the clip, and then we move on from that. We'll give you a chance to hear on the answer.
What do you mean seemingly?
Never seen. Where's the church? This is not a church. These are politics. A church is a church. These are politics. Your Excellency, can the systems be activated? Those who have cases, can they be acquitted or go to jail? If they don't have cases, let them acquit them so that we know that this one is clean.
Kateka ni maozi wali sampa ye mwino wachipuna lero mule susha makoti lero mule fuwa makoti ya pingule balu winda bali mituwala kuma koti kuli maozi ukwe watu mwalipanga iriko mulapanga na posting kuma koti balu binda ichile chikamisanga ne milandu mukaka kwa mukaka ku prison na mukwatama contempt ya bili balu binda badimo mule imono kuti na mukwatishia mano pantu na mukwatishia mano ama jacket balu binda tachitanero chimo amano yaba mu mutu omu munje bachama America tasambira but twamichita defeat twamituse mbindi ground na mituse mbindi chama America na mituse mbindi maozi na yanganapo alipa mupando too much talking pali ba UPND fish ba milira ba UPND bali mipoko obuteko ino ba mipoko obuteko for any ama means nomba mano ukukana kwata barubinda amano ukukana kwata iwe na kachinda kwa lengo kweba chichipancha PF twa mipoka Katarism all over mukwete ama guys mukwete ba yufi abashwa Katarism so twakana barubinda sendeni Katarism yenu sendeni ba yufi beno ba Katarism mao sampa atila mwebe na Zambia bonse bo batamfisha mu kipanyi kya PF bonse bo batamfisha mu kipanyi kya PF kumuna nduno rupato no mufimbila na bumumbi munda Sampale Mita, welcome.
So there we have it. We have a member of the Patriotic Front who actually says they are recognizing Mao Sampa as their legitimate leader. That now brings us to the question of Balungu is back now. As what? Or where is he going to fit in? From Kilava, I think you can start up.
Let him pay 200 pin and be in a queue.
The man who spoke first on those two clips we had, that should have been Mafinga. Is it Mafinga, member of parliament, who was expelled from the PF? Remember when I was saying these senior political parties they are expelling, he's one of them. So he's not assumingly to be a PF member. He is a PF member. He's actually a member of parliament under the PF ticket. I just thought I should correct that.
Thank you. He is actually legitimately, because whatever Luvinda has been doing, anything, any transaction or party, whatever undertaking he has done will be rendered illegal, because his leadership is in question mark, is in limbo right now. Because even when Edgar Changwa Lungu comes, in what capacity? Because if we are to follow Luvinda and Edgar Lungu's camp, Edgar Changwa Lungu is under now Luvinda. Now, in what capacity? How is Luvinda going to bring Edgar Changwa Lungu into the picture? In what capacity? So these are questions, because if we are to follow their legitimacy, to say them they are legal, they are the legitimate people. But even there, Lungu does not have any portfolio right now. The only portfolio that he has in the political party is the former president. That's all. Legally speaking, he's not the president. He is not the president. His name may be there, but he had already put a caveat. He had terminated his contract. So that itself put him in a very awkward situation. Even if they try to play with the word to say, no, let us rescind, let us know he's back. Yes, he will be back. He's welcome, very welcome. Unfortunately, if he wants a position, he has to earn the position. He has to stand in the line. And the very people, the very, very PF, they are the ones, remember, that says if someone wants to contest as the president of the party, what do they have to do? They have to pay a nomination fee. Okay? If we are to follow their own Luvinda regime, because it was during Luvinda when those 200 pins were paid, isn't it? So Lungu has come back without a position, because he's an ex. That's why he has come back. Not going back because he has to be voted. Because what has happened within 2 years, people have moved on. People have changed their mind. People have been lagging behind GBM. GBM has a group of people that are following him. Munduvire has also people that are following him. Okay? What's his name? Monde has so many followers that are following him, that needs to vote for him, that wants him to be the president. Chimbaka Mbwili has so many people that are following him, that wants him to be the president, the party president. Who else? Chitaru Chirufia, is it? Yeah? He has so many people because they paid 200 pin. They expressed their willingness, wanting to be, and they have now camps within a camp. They have camps within this big party. So in what position should they abandon their aspiring candidates to go back to Lungu, the one who made them lose power. Because the reason why they want a change, these PF politicians, political members, it's because they have lost power. They lost an election. They lost power. They lost as a party. They lost so many members. So now the question is, they want change. They want to bring in somebody. So hence them rallying behind their candidates. Benemao Sampa, he also expressed, he wants to be the president, the party president, which is now is. All these other, I don't know how many were they, 10 or more. So if Bolungu is one of the anonymous, maybe because there was that person who was not named. Remember, there was a gentleman, I think it was a gentleman, I don't know if it's a lady, and people were insinuating that it could be Ndambo, who they said he paid. That's why in PF Mandi, if it's PF they can make you run mad. But they actually, they are all waiting, to support their members, their presidential aspirants. So in what position, how does Lungu come in, and where is he going to put Benekambwili? Because he is not the current president, because there has been a vacuum. Hence this power struggle within PF. There is power struggle within PF right now. And who created this? It's the same Lungu. By virtue of him tendering in his resignation and leaving the party and leaving active politics, that itself, that action, it is the one that has put this political party in a mayhem, in a mess.
So let me just do this. Let me invite the messages. May I ask my producer just bring in the messages that we have received, so that we can also get to engage and hear what our viewers are actually trying to communicate with us. Wallace Miyova is saying ECL has no idea what he has just done. This is the end of the beginning. He's coming back to remind the Zambians of his brutality, of his leadership, killing of innocent youths, gassing retiring southwestern and northwestern provinces workers, police officers in the national interest. We have not forgotten that. He's also talking about the national plunder by his wife, children, and his ministers at the time. We will embarrass and expose ECL and expose him. ECL is the worst president has had so far. All right, thank you for that. Let's have the next message. This was simple and straightforward. Adams is saying we don't need him. Thank you so much. Let's see what somebody else is trying to say. No one is in need of him. That's coming from Joseph Kampang. Okay. Also, thank you so much, Anthony, for showing us that you're watching us, and also waving and also really appreciating your viewership of this program. Now, Mr. Mkelaba, I don't know, my lenses seem to have a little bit fallen off, but I'm not sure if I can really see that, but it's saying Mr. Mkelaba, you are right. Okay, thank you so much. Any other messages we have? We have something from Ask Tungu, which says, Mama Himba, well speaking, even Lawrence knows how that Achtiradala. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Anything else in our inbox? Okay. I'm trying to okay. The message says, Mao Sampa is already pampando. So Edgar Lungu alekalira pesa. Zambian politics. Who were laughing. That's Raj Dukes, the store. Thank you so much, Mr. Raj. Anything else? I think Malambo and Mkelava, you are just useless cadres. Interesting there. This one is saying Chapwa ni Miles. That's Ask Tugru Mulkis. Bradley is also saying, I also don't need him. I will never ever need him, not even in my death. Anything else we have in our inbox? This one says ECL gassed us and brutalized Zambians. That's coming from Malungu Namushi. Then Mekitaola says Neo AI in reference to Mr. Lungu coming back. Young Precia says that bitter man will never be president again. Thank you so much for that message. We also have Namwinga Precious Mwaza saying she's watching us. Thank you so much, Namwinga. Okay, that is where we are ending with our messages this particular afternoon. Thank you so much for each and every message that has come through. I'll ask the two of you to, as we give our concluding remarks, to probably just respond to one or two messages that have come in. Let me start with Himba.
First and foremost, may I say thank you so much to those beautiful and wonderful comments, and we are so proud of our viewers that they are following and acknowledge what we are doing. However, I would love to say I'm not going to pick any message. All I've done, I just want to appreciate all the messages, but I just have to say, let us think beyond personal interest when we are looking at the political scenario in our country. And let us also remove our political jackets and let's call a spade a spade. Truth be told, and we are going to save the future generation. Basically, for me at the moment, ECL is not the best. If anything, there are a lot of credible people with integrity in the PF who can rule Zambia, or maybe pa PF level siwabafuna, but kubwela kulia dada neo. And on the other hand, I just want to remind the PF members, kange manja pa kulima PF ya bili kulu sim 1 na sim 2. Sim 1 ni aba Edgar, sim 2 ni aba Mao Sampa. But I want to remind our comrades in the PF, especially the leadership, that accept that you are no longer in power. This arrogance you are portraying, this attitude you are portraying like you are in power, you're just wasting your time. Whether you like it or not, Hakainde Hichilema right now, he's got the instrument of power. He's the commander of all armed forces in Zambia. Why am I saying so? Muzambo kambe bashitachani. It's still HH is in controlling seat at the moment. But Edgar has his own time. He left. The only problem we have is that by Edgar wafuna kuja na muli banzao. But then, even as the younger generation, we are not going to be allowed to be rude because I don't know how long HH will be in power. That only God can tell us. But will not allow, even in our generation, to bring by Edgar. No, even in the PF, we are looking for the leader of our generation. By Edgar, Twalipa King and archives. And now by PF, remember that you are not in power. Whatever you're doing, you're no longer in power. If Edgar Lungu is coming thinking he's going to control the systems, he can still manipulate the systems, you are shooting yourselves in the legs. At the end of the day, let us come together, let us unite together and fight for Mother Zambia. If you have to muma politics, it waka na togaga. It's a done deal. His history to us, and if he's coming, we'll handle him at our level as the young generation. But for us, we've got our own leaders of our generation. His time passed. He was lucky. He was given on a silver platter. He doesn't know what it means to campaign. He doesn't know how it is to register a party. He doesn't even know how to. It is ukwenda mumusewo kula diefitumbua fidiaba satabale diefitumbua. He doesn't know how to sit pa intercity wa tampo kulanda na badam our intercity members. He doesn't know. Sata did that. That's why he thinks it's easy, and he thinks it will be easier now. We have political parties with new members, with new ideologies, and then we'll dance, we'll meet in the political arena. I submit, Lawrence.
All right, thank you. Let me ask Bomkelaba, you can respond to 1 or 2 messages, and then give as you are giving your concluding remarks. Over to you.
No, it's good to know that people are following, and they also have their own reactions. And for those who think that we are cadres, if that's what it makes, that's what it means to be a cadre, by bringing out and supporting the current government, or by supporting Miles Sampa, who is the current president of the PF, if that's what makes us to be cadres, then sorry, so be it. You cannot take it away from us, because that's our opinion, and we trust that our opinion matters.
By speaking for the people of Zambia, and also standing on the right side of the law.
Yes, and if that makes us cadres, then we are the best cadres so far, and you should just appreciate us, because as we don't throw stones, we throw words. So if you want to challenge us, this issue to do with the character assassination, because that's the kind of politics that you are used of, we are way beyond that. We are way beyond that. We don't want to go in that. We will simply bring a well-based issue like what we are talking about, that this drama in the PF should not include. They should take away UPND out of this. The government is not involved at any time in this mess. It is their own mess. They need to fix it. It is their problem. Why should their mistakes, their mess, be the mess of the whole entire country? And we don't know. It is their problem. So we should not. I want to tell the PF to say, stop involving the government and the rest of the country, because we are not interested of your own, I'll use the word nonsense in your party. You have so much nonsense. You have so much fighting, inner fighting, and that is what you are known for. So right now, as spectators, as PF members, we can simply tell you to say, right now, the legitimate political leader of the party that we know, who has been elected by their own people, whether they are 2 people, whatever, but they went through a convention, then Miles Sampa is the current president of the PF. Now, we are going to listen to hear from Miles Sampa how he is going to deal with Edgar Chagwa Lungu. If Miles Sampa decides to say, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, come in and take over, and by the way, you have to go through the election, let him decide, not Ruvinda. And also bear in mind that your battle is your battle. Don't include us in. Because that is the mistake you, the PF, are doing. You want to rub your noise is just too loud, that you want to include even other political parties in your drama. Leave other political parties out of your drama. Sort out your mess. You created this mess on your own. Find a solution on your own and fix it on your own. Do not bring the government. The government has got nothing to do with you guys. The government is not even interested. But what the government is interested in is the documentation. If you have followed the right law, what the judiciary is going to look at is to see, to interpret whether your documents are legitimate, followed, and they are okay. Otherwise, when it comes to your noise, keep it to yourself. We are not interested. If you want to bring Edgar Chagwa Lungu as your party president, and you have a consensus as the whole country of your PF members, the constituents have decided to bring Edgar Changalungu, who are we to stop you from bringing your own candidate? He is your own. It is up to you. Don't bring us in. But the reason why we are talking about this, because we see a lot of unfairness, that you are bullying. You have again come back to start bullying Miles Sampa. You want to silence him, just the way you did it the first time when he wanted to start.
How do you even have this acting president here says we will use this is in a country where people respect the funerals, the dead people. Here comes a senior leader of a political party, the former Minister of Justice, says we are going to use Ifidilo now to campaign. And a few days later, somebody comes at a memorial service, and then he announces that he's coming back. He turns the memorial service of the founder member of the party as the political rally. That's why he's out.
It's an insult.
That's an insult even to our culture.
My dear sister, their sins, they are going to, they are paying for their sins. I promise you, when you do something wrong to the people, or when you want to make some shortcuts, when the law is clear, you always pay the price. You are going to karma is yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to cut the two of you short. I know.
Just a little bit. In Parliament, he says he's asking during the question and answer of the Vice President. He said, "Are you what guarantee do we have that the memorial service of our founding father is going to be peaceful?" Anyway, I rest my case. Sorry, Rollins, on that one.
Yes, so Rollins, I'm sorry as well to cut you. I know you are moderating, but this topic is quite hot. But what I want to assure the Zambian people is that, or the PF, is that ama problems mukwete wa PF wire do not rub us in. Do not bring the UPND. Do not bring any other people in. If a member want to support you, let them come in and support you, okay? And do not bring the court in this. Do not bring the parliament in this. It is your inner fighting, inner house fighting. And Miles Sampa always makes your skin quivers every time his name is mentioned. I don't know why you are scared, because you know that he delivers. He can be playful at times, but he knows what he does is result oriented. And Lungu, we know that Miles Sampa invoked the Lungu spirits, because the moment Miles Sampa was pronounced the party president, Lungu came back from hibernation. So we know. So Mwisakamana, there's always a solution at the end of the day. Malasanga solution mwebene. And you are going to we as a country will just want you to say that don't bring confusion and violence in a country because of your decision mulepanga. I am a shortcut, so do not take us in, or else we will be forced to step in to come and help you to maintain peace. Otherwise, those are the short message. That's the message I could give you, to say, take a nyeni. We can ball a punch, but Edgar Lungu, he is welcome. He's welcome. Okay. Let him come. Okay. But
thank you so much.
The battle is going to, it has just begun. Now he has invoked Ama Spirits Yesu. The reason we removed him, we are going to bring back those issues, and we want to see an application in the parliament, so that his immunity should be removed, so that we can remove all these issues surrounding him, so he can stand as clean as possible.
I'm really sorry.
Thank
At
you.
this point in
Sorry. My apologies. I end there.
We have to wind up, and this has been a very special interaction that we've had this afternoon concerning something, a topic that is very hot right now in the country, and everybody is discussing it. We want to appreciate everybody who actually spent some time to watch this broadcast. We appreciate each and every message that has come through. We have not read all the messages. We still have some more messages which are in our inbox, but hey, time will not really allow us. We really appreciate for each and every one of you who actually sent in a message. We also appreciate the two panelists that I had this afternoon, this being an impromptu kind of a broadcast, but we managed to do it. Thank you so much to the director and producer who is working in the background, that's Mr. Nkunika. And on behalf of everyone here at Ubuntu channel, we want to say enjoy the rest of the day, and also have a productive week. Remember, Ubuntu will be live again just a few hours from now, where we will join Namwenga with a moment of grace. And please do make time and see what she has prepared for us, because we have actually some giveaways of airtime this evening. So please don't miss on that one. Let me say goodbye, and thank you so much. Please, viewing.